Hi, my name is Misha, and if you're new here, I'm writing a book. And the last time you saw me, I was actually taking a bit of a break, a month-long break, after writing the first draft of my novel, and that was hard. It was hard. A month away after you've been so deep in it was not the easiest thing. What did make it easier is that I went to go visit my sister. She lives in London in the UK. And so I got to be with my nephews. And yeah, it was really nice to have that family time. And now I'm back and I wanted to get straight into it, but I came back with a cold. So I had to rest, which is not my favorite thing to do. Shocker. Nah. Today I'm starting to feel a little bit better. I still have a cough, but I wanted to do a little writing vlog. Well, it's not really a writing vlog. I guess it's going to be more of like a reading vlog. I'm going back into the first draft of my book and I'm going to read it for the first time. I started yesterday and I got like 30 pages in and I was getting really into it, but my migraine was just way too intense that I couldn't keep reading as much as I wanted to, because I guess I learned the hard way that when you're sick, you should probably take a break and rest. But because I've already taken such a big break, taken a month-long break from this book, I was like, I want to get back in. Today, I am ready to actually get back into it, which I'm very excited about. I have a little bit of a system I've created as I read through everything. I've put some sticky tabs. The tabs are around plot, character, pacing, theme, and setting. So those are the main pieces I just want to mark for myself. I also have some sticky notes as well to be able to write notes. I have my handy dandy notebook to also write down notes and page numbers and things that I want to reflect on. If you haven't watched it, I actually made a revision prep video where I went through a bunch of questions that I want to have in the back of my mind as I read through my book. And they're really separated through the categories that I just listed. So I want to flag any of that as I do a read through, but also let myself just read the full book without going in to make minor edits here and there. Write down my thoughts as I go, write down any inconsistencies, answers to some of these questions where it makes sense, and see how I feel. I thought I'd take you with me as I do that. I don't know if I'll be able to read as quickly as I normally do, especially because I'll be taking such hefty notes throughout the process, and I'm also going to be taking some breaks because I'm not feeling well. If I get a migraine again, I'm going to have to take a little bit of a break, but I'm very excited to be diving into things. Little update. I got to page like 79 of my book and then I'm starting to feel my migraine come back on again. So I'm gonna take a little bit of a pause, but as I'm reading through, I'm taking a bunch of notes. What I'm really noticing is the pacing is definitely off. I think that's the biggest thing. I'm also noticing right away, something that I was really worried about is that I wouldn't know what changes need to be made. And like, I am really noticing some of the big picture things already that need to change. Like, for example, in the beginning, I am like, oh, there needs to be greater emphasis on her mother's death, which is how it starts. So it's not that much of a spoiler. I'm definitely noticing that there is extra content that I really want to make, though I really like the beginning scene and I think I really want to keep it. There's also that character that I keep mentioning throughout who I'm like, am I going to delete her? Am I going to keep her? I do kind of love her, but I kind of dropped her off a little bit closer in like somewhere farther along Act 2. I just forgot about her. She's gone. And I was worried about that in draft 1 where I was like, keep her in mind. And I didn't. So I'm finding more areas to kind of bring her back in because I do want her. I think she can be quite a significant part of the story, or she adds to the plot. She's not necessarily a significant part of the story, but she does add to the plot to an extent, and I want her character to have more of an impact. And I think that I'm noticing areas where I can bring her in a little bit better. So that's really exciting. I'm also noticing that, some of the more thriller elements of it can show up earlier on in the novel than they do. They have just started, and I'm on page 79. I mean, again, like, this is formatted not in the way that a normal book would be formatted, but it is way too late for some of this to be happening. It needs to happen a little bit earlier on. So a lot about pacing and the balance between dialogues and settings and describing like more of like the internal monologue and her own thoughts. And I think that needs to be strengthened quite a bit. But in terms of the story so far, I am enjoying it. Hi. Another main character, not the protagonist, but another main character in the book. I'm not 100% sold on what she does for a living, so I might change her career. There's some things that I'm already kind of speculating, thinking about, reflecting on as I'm reading the book. I'm also making fun commentary. Like, there's some parts that are really funny, and I'm a little bit proud of myself because I forgot about them completely. And then I read it and I was like, that's really funny. That's really funny, and I'm glad that I wrote that. That was good. Past Misha. Good job. So there's some parts of it that I'm like, oh, we're keeping this. I really like this. And I didn't know, I honestly didn't think that there would be any. Like, I was really going into it thinking that I would scrap pretty much all of it, which honestly, a lot of it is, like, so far as I'm reading it, I'm like, a lot of it will go. The skeleton of things I am really enjoying, and I see the potential of what it can become right now with what is currently written, and I'm happy about that. I do have quite a bit more to read, but I think that I'm going to take a little bit of a pause, take a painkiller probably for my head, drink some tea, and if I start to feel better, I might get back into it. Otherwise, I will just get ready for bed and, maybe try and sleep early so I can get over this cold. That's all I have for you today, unless I come back later. I probably won't because I'm not feeling super good. You can probably tell by my voice, it's not the best. More updates to come. Hello. So it's been a couple of days. The last I spoke to you, it was Tuesday, and now it is Friday. And I'm feeling a lot better. The migraines are gone, and now I just have my lingering cough, which is a lot better. I think I read about 80 pages on Tuesday of my book, and then I was like, I need to take a nap. I need to go to bed. After work today, I finished work at 5, and then after making some dinner, I got straight into reading. Now I'm on page 256. The total page count is 380, so I think I'm going to actually finish it today. I've pretty much been reading for the past 2 hours, and I think that within the next hour I'll be finishing this book, probably maybe hour and a half, because I'm taking some notes as well. I wanted to give some thoughts as I am reading it. The first being that a lot is definitely going to go. Something that I'm finding as I'm reading it is that she reflects on certain memories she has with her mother in this book, and those scenes I really like. I really like how they're written. Obviously, those are still going to need to be edited, but I really like them right now, and I think I'm going to keep them more or less the same, with obviously some edits to make it flow a lot better. I do find that the rest of it, especially Act 1, which as I was writing Act 1, I knew it was too long. Reading it, I was like, you're too long. You're too long. You don't need to be this long. I'm definitely going to go back and cut a lot. The writing itself it's okay. It's not great quality. I mean, that's kind of what a first draft is. It's not amazing. It's kind of It's choppy, the flow isn't great, there are pieces that are really inconsistent. The one thing I'm really enjoying is that as I'm reading it, especially as some of the characters speak, I can really notice whether their lines sound like their personality or something that they would actually say, which is really cool now that I've finished writing it, reading back some of those like early scenes, and even like through Act 2, I can better distinguish characters and know right off the bat like whether I have written something that doesn't sound like a specific character and whether that line needs to be changed or let go of altogether. So that actually feels quite good. I'm not discouraged by that. Honestly, I went into this read through knowing that I would be pretty much rewriting all of it. The fact that there are things that I am contemplating keeping or just, adding to or editing is a great surprise. I think that there's one thing that's really bothering me. I'm noticing that there's definitely one piece of the plot that's missing, and I can't figure out what it is. Like, as I'm reading it, I'm like, there's something that needs to be here, and it's not here, and it's big. I don't know what that is. Maybe after I read it, I'll have that reflection time. I'll go over my notes. I'll write out an outline and see if I can understand what it is. My hope is that I'll be able to figure it out. I'm going to continue thinking. I guess that's all I can really do, thinking about it. As I'm reading it, I am finding myself sometimes drifting off into this like a little bit of like dreaming of, oh, this could be this, and instead of this scene it could actually make more sense as this, or maybe this this character needs to kind of act like this instead. And I'm just kind of rearranging things in my brain already and then taking notes as I am thinking or having these ideas. That part is feeling really, really good. So I have a little bit over 100 pages left, so shouldn't take me that long to read, and I'll be back with some more thoughts. But I thought I'd share a little bit of what's coming up for me right now. There have been moments that I was reading and I was just like, you're not needed and you're also not good. You're going to have to go. And there's other scenes that I am reading that I'm like, oh, you just need a rewrite. Like, I like what's happening here, but there's things that need to change or need to be added or need to be deleted. But the scene itself, a semblance of you will exist, just in a different form. Right now, a lot of action is happening and also about to happen. I'm excited to see how I feel once I read it. So I will check back in after I'm done reading and let you know my thoughts. So we're back. And last night I finished the reading through the first draft of the book, and I thought that I would take the night just to sort of sleep on it and then come back and give some of my reflections after that first read through. The first thing I'll say is that I definitely went into this thinking I would scrap every piece of it and do like a complete rewrite, but I was pretty surprised to see some scenes, particularly ones where she's revisiting her relationship with her mother and certain memories in the past. Those ones I think were both written quite well and added to the story quite a bit. So I think if it makes sense as I replot things moving forward, if it makes sense, those are the things I would actually end up keeping. Obviously, there's things that I would edit out, but for the most part, those are ones that I would probably keep more or less not the same, but like very similar, and keep some of the writing that I'd already had for it. A lot is murky in the middle. I mean, the middle is notoriously the hardest thing to write for, I will say, pretty much every writer. The middle is the hardest part. And there's a lot in the middle that I'm still a little bit like, is this told in the right way? Is this the scene that we want to have? Again, I really like the skeleton of the novel, and that's the whole point of the first draft. I think coming in with a more critical lens of how things are currently positioned in the book is something I can see very, very clearly, especially after the month-long break. I also made a point to myself to also write down and highlight things that I really liked, and that felt really encouraging as well, reading through. Because I mean, first drafts, they're hard to read through because they're not the best quality for the most part. Most of writing is done through editing and revising. To see things that I really enjoyed and lines that I really enjoyed and moments that I thought were beautiful or funny or interesting or said really well, I think that was really nice for me to be able to see that amidst all of the things that I want to change, and kind of was like, I don't know about that. I don't know about this. What's great is that the 1 month long break, I think, was kind of perfect, because what I was worried about is that I wouldn't know what to do next. And while there's still a lot of questions I have and things that I have to figure out, because the second draft is really like a puzzle where I'm trying to map out, what makes sense, what doesn't, what needs to go, what needs to be added in. Is there anything missing that needs to kind of be present within the story to make it richer and more engaging, make sense? While there's still questions that I have, I immediately knew right away if there was a piece of dialogue that didn't match a character's voice. And to be able to identify that, I think shows that I know them quite well at this point, and I'll continue to learn more and more about them. I mean, there's definitely going to be more things that I write that later on I look back on and I'm like, okay, this needs to be edited because this isn't how they would necessarily say it. But to be able to see that right after a first draft, because a first draft's pretty early to kind of understand your story to the full extent that you will after many drafts to come. So to already be able to see those pieces, to identify it, and to identify characters, I think is made me feel really good about it. A lot is going to be cut out of Act 1, and a lot of Act 2 will kind of float in its place, so that the pacing of things is a little bit quicker. That's something I already knew as I was ending Act 1 and entering Act 2. I was also feeling that Act 1 was way too long. So to kind of have that validated as I was reading it, I think I was like, this pacing is not good. It needs to get going a little bit more. And for that to happen so late in the novel is something that I need to really edit. Act 3 as well is too short. I need to flesh out some of those scenes quite a bit. There is a lot that I know I want to change in the beginning, a lot of things that I want to add, but the middle is still a part that I feel some question marks about, because I don't know if things are going to happen in the way that they are currently happening. That's something I'm going to continue to work through before I go into editing. You'll see some of those videos of how I try to kind of figure out that piece of the puzzle, because right now, after I read it, I was like, there's something missing and I don't know what it is. And it's a piece of the plot that feels quite big. It feels quite large. You can feel like something is missing. And I want to figure out what that something is. And I have some tactics to be able to hopefully try and do that. And hopefully I can try and map it out. So some videos to come will really be about me trying to figure out that puzzle before I go into drafting. It's like, oh God, you good? She's having the zoomies. The other thing that I really want to make sure is not confusing is I kind of want it to feel like parts of her reality are not seen clearly. Because some of these memories are popping up and we are, as a reader, are not sure what is real or what is not at certain points of the novel. I want to see how I can do that in a way that makes is less confusing, but also intentionally confusing. I don't know if that makes sense. So I do have some thinking to do about, do I want this to be clear about this being a memory, or do I want it to start disrupting her reality quite a bit and for the reader to kind of feel like they don't know what is real and what is not? And I think I want to do the latter, to be honest, but to do that, you have to be really intentional with it. I want it to be done correctly, and I think the way that I did it right now is not correct. Before I go into the actual editing of things, I really wanted to give some of these reflections. To be honest, this is one of the better first drafts that I've ever written. And for that, I'm really proud of myself. Does that mean it's good quality? No. No. First drafts are not good quality. The goal was for me to learn the story so that I have something to work with, and then I can move things around. And honestly, not a lot is going to stay the same. I'm surprised that a few things might, but as we move on through different drafts, even those things might go. It's something that I'm really excited to be working through, and I'm already excited to start the drafting part of it, to actually start the writing of it. But I think there's some things I need to figure out beforehand. I will be taking you all with me as I try to figure out this puzzle. But for now, I thought I'd leave you with these reflections, and, how I'm going to move forward next is really probably outlining a little bit more. There's a sticky note method and some things that I've been researching a little bit that I want to try out. Stay tuned. More to come on how we start draft 2 of this book. If you made it this far, maybe leave a rainbow emoji. Let me know if you have any tips or tricks for figuring out the murky middle. I'm going to be trying some things out, and if you have any suggestions, I will gladly try them out and see how they work for me. I'm always open to that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you all very soon. Bye.